Wi-Fi. Thank you. Using my
Yeah, it is, man. I don't know what's up with my stream right now. It's acting real funny. But the weather's kind of bad too. I always notice, man, if it's really cloudy outside, man, my Wi-Fi acts real stupid, yeah. Yo, what up, guys? Like I said, man, I'm trying my hardest to finish this shit before I go to sleep, yo. No lie, yo, this easel is so tall, it literally fucking touches the ceiling, yo. Like I could easily jack this easel up some more and make this bottom shelf higher. But like this is a big ass fucking easel. It's like maybe an inch and a half from the ceiling right now, and I can't even go up another notch on this shit. But I love this easel though, just because it is so big. I just be able to do some big ass canvases on this shit, and then when your canvases get too big, oh my god, I'm trying not to get more of this brown because I don't need much, but I really don't have much left on my fucking palette either. Alright, let me grab some browns. I'm only gonna use two. I'm gonna grab some burnt umber, and no, I think I might grab three. Some burnt umber, some Venice green anymore. Are the flesh colors. So just go ahead and get this completely wiped off. I had some napkins in here. I don't know where in the hell I put them. All right, that's as clean as it's gonna get. It's about as much as I feel like doing to it. So it doesn't look bad though. It's nice and clean. It's clean enough, you know. So what I'm gonna do is get some of these darker browns for her hair and try to just touch up this bottom portion where you can kind of see her jacket through a portion of her hair. I just want to get some more individual strands of highlights in there. And like I said, I'm gonna use, oh, I could use that color. That might work nice in there, but I want this raw sienna. I know I'm gonna actually pull out way more colors than I'm saying right now, but all right, I got raw sienna, I got some Van Dyke brown, I got some burnt umber. Let me get a lighter color in here. I'm going to use some gold ochre, and I'm going to get some gold ochre and some Naples yellow, and I already have a little bit of white on there. As a matter of fact, instead of gold ochre, I'm going to use this yellow ochre. And ooh, there's a spider in there. Whoa. Hey, spider. What are you doing in there with my paints? Better not lay no eggs in there. Alright. Well, oh, and Naples yellow. What else I said? Okay, Naples yellow. Oops. Alright, Van Dyke brown. Burnt umber. Raw sienna. Some yellow ochre. And some Naples yellow hue. Now, let me clean off this gunk. Straight up paint around this one tube. Alright, I hate when that paint gets all built up around the cap like that. So what did I do with the cap? Oh, here it is. Alright. never had the blues when the blues hit the man. When the blues hit the man. You never had the blues when the blues hit the man. Make him feel so low, like he got nowhere to go. When the blues hit the man. The blues hit the man. My fucking God with the goddamn buffer. Oh my fucking God, I'm trying to mix this color without pulling out some other colors. I don't think I'll be able to do it. Shit. Let me know. Is that it? No. God damn it. Fucking shit. This is what I hate. Getting down to the end. Fuck you, bitch. Getting down to the end. Trying to touch up a little spot. And can't get the fucking color back. Now, where is... I need some orange. 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 Oh, my goodness. Fucking suck at touch-ups. I'm gonna wind up having to paint this whole big ass area just to blend it in properly. And I gotta dirty up more brushes. Damn it, man. Get some of this orange and some of this radiant red. And a little bit of that fucking yellow ochre. And that's a good touch-up color. Damn, it took me all of that, yo. Let me dust that off. And throw a little bit of a bit more Naples yellow in this mix right here. Okay. See? That's all you had to do the first time. Dang, I didn't want to have to paint that whole area like that. Now, man, shit. And see now I'm pull some paint from the edge, because that's wet. I'm fucking it up, yo. I'm not going to finish this thing tonight. Come on, man. I think I'm getting too anxious to finish. I just need to slow down a little bit. Slow down. You're almost done. Just take your time. Just take your time. Now what the fuck was I doing? The hair. Okay, I was doing the hair. I saw the shadow was fucked up. Okay, right? So I fixed the fucking shadow. I fixed that. Now it's just a little bit of hair. Come on, man. You got this. Probably need to smoke a little bit more. Wow, what anime you be watching, Puff? I'm a motherfucking Ghost in the Shell fan through and through, yo. That's my shit. I got almost everything Ghost in the Shell, almost everything. I think there's the Solid State Society is probably the only movie I don't have in my collection. But the Solid State Society is kind of like, I don't know. It seems like it was part of the episodes, and they just strung some of the episodes together and added a little bit more to it, and then made that into a standalone movie. But so I got the original Ghost in the Shell on VHS, Ghost in the Shell 2, Ghost in the Shell the new movie. I got Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, the complete series. I got Ghost in the Shell Second Gig, the complete series. And then I got Ghost in the Shell Arise, the complete series. And like I said, the only thing I don't have is that the Solid State Society. I got I never heard of that shit, a Kamiga. But I'm gonna have to check that out. Somebody told me to watch this shit called Gantz Zero. Gantz Zero. I started watching it. I really ain't. I really wasn't feeling that shit. It's kind of like It's kind of like Sword Art Online, where these people are like trapped inside a video game. But in Sword Art, people knew they were playing the game, and they knew it was like a immersive, virtual reality interactive world or whatever, and they just got stuck in the game. But in this Gantz, this series, it's like people died. Like they really died in real life. It's one of the characters you see die. He's, you know, he's at a train station, and there's like some weird, crazy guy just going around stabbing motherfuckers, yo. And he sees this one old man get stabbed, and he goes tries to help him, and then like the serial killer dude stabs his ass, and he fucking dies. And then he wakes up, and he's inside this game or something, and they're saying, if you can beat the game and survive the levels, you get to go back to the real world or whatever. So I thought that was kind of weird. How are you gonna die and then go into a game and then come back to life from just beating a video game? And then I was like, this is kind of similar to Sword Art Online. Like I said, because they were stuck in the video game, but in Sword Art, it was like if you died in the game, you died in real life. Or that's what people thought until like the end of season one when uh, they figured out, if you die, you just came out the game. Or if you beat the game and survived, you woke up out of it. Mm. I don't know. The last series I watched was Attack on Titan, and I tried to watch some of the new Dragon Ball, but I couldn't find any of it that was English dub. So I don't know. I didn't watch. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes of that shit. Another all-time favorite of mine is fucking Cowboy Bebop, yo. I got everything. I got the complete series to Cowboy Bebop, and I got the movie to that shit. Cowboy Bebop, the movie. Ed. Where's Ed? Yo, Cowboy Bebop was my shit too, yo. What else I have the whole collection to? The first series for Nickelodeon's The Last Airbender or Avatar, The Last Airbender. I actually have that, yo. Like when they first put it out on DVD, yo, the collection, man, that shit was like $108 for all 3 seasons. I remember I had just started dating a girl at that time, and I bought that shit. She was like, "Nigga, you really just spent $108 on some fucking cartoons?" And I was like, I thought to myself, like, this relationship might not work out. This bitch is criticizing me spending. Ed. That was the character's name in Cowboy Bebop. The little girl, Ed. So you had Jet, Oh my god, I can't think of the fucking character's name. Holy shit. Really? I'm drawing a fucking blank right now. I know Jet, the one girl last name was Valentine. You got Ed. The dog's name was Ein. Holy shit. Damn, has it been that long since I watched Cowboy Bebop?
About Cowboy Bebop. Let's get started. Number 1. Cowboy Bebop premiered in Japan on television station TV Tokyo. However, it was soon canceled due to its adult themes, excessive violence, and low ratings. If you had to pick which one of those had the most impact, it's low ratings. Number 2. The original series broadcasted from April 3rd until June 26th in 1998, with only episodes 2, 3, 7 to 15, and 18 making it to air. Number 3. Because of the early cancellation, a special titled Mishmash Blues was created. In it, the characters provided a philosophical commentary ending with the words, "This is not the end, you will see the real Cowboy Bebop someday." Number 4, and they did, as in that same year, the show was shown in its entirety from October 24th to April 24th in 1999 on the Japanese satellite network Wow Wow. Wow Wow Wow, that's a hard name. Number 5, Cowboy Bebop is credited with introducing anime to Western viewers in the early 2000s and is known as a gateway into anime. Number 6, each episode is referred to as a session, possibly in reference to a music session, where a group of musicians come together to play a song, or in this case, hunt some bounties. Number 7, most of the episodes in the series are named after musical concepts or genres, such as Jupiter Jazz and Asteroid Blues. Number 8, some episodes are named after specific songs, such as the Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil and Honky Tonk Women. Fortunately, this anime didn't come out today, or we have, I feel like, less exciting titles. I guess Party Rock Anthem would be an interesting session. Number 9, Cowboy Bebop is known for blending a variety of genres, including spaghetti westerns, Hong Kong action films, film noir, and sci-fi. Number 10, Cowboy Bebop is also heavily influenced by specific films as well, with Enter the Dragon, Desperado, The Crow, Reservoir Dogs, and A Better Tomorrow being just a few. Number 11, the series explores various philosophical concepts such as existentialism, existential ennui, and loneliness. So, the perfect show for turning off your brain and just watching. Number 12, Cowboy Bebop was the first anime-style show to be shown as part of Cartoon Network's Adult Swim programming block in the United States. Number 13, Cowboy Bebop remains the longest anime series aired on Adult Swim. Number 14, series director Shinichiro Watanabe originally envisioned Cowboy Bebop as a movie instead of a show. Because of this, Watanabe treated each episode as a miniature film, or a session, as we learned. Number 15, Watanabe's vision later saw the light of day when Cowboy Bebop the movie released in 2001 to theaters worldwide. Number 16, the movie, which takes place between episodes 22 and 23, centers on the Bebop crew stopping a terrorist attack on Mars. I don't know what it is, but apparently once we go to space, we want to attack Mars a lot more than Earth, and I'm just not sure why. Number 17, in the opening credits for the Cowboy Bebop movie, several of the English voice actors make cameos, including Bo Billingsley, who played Jet, Wendy Lee, who played Faye, Steve Bloom, who plays Spike, and Gilbert Gottfried, who plays Ein. Okay, the last one might not be true, but imagine if it was. Number 18, the villain of the Cowboy Bebop film, Vincent Vallejo, was designed by smashing together two of America's greatest musicians, Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash. Number 19. Shinichiro Watanabe also directed the anime Samurai Champloo, which was also very well received, and you should totally watch it.
Yo,
Number
that was
20.
my
The
shit,
animation
yo.
studio Sunrise,
Samurai
which developed
Champloo.
animation for Cowboy Bebop, also developed animation for Samurai Champloo. You should really, really watch this show, please. Number 21. The dark clothing color in Spike's suit was intended to reflect his state of mind. My clothing also reflects my state of mind in that it's generally disorganized and a little bit disheveled. Number 22. Spike's appearance is based off the appearance of Japanese actor Yusaku Matsuda, mostly in his famous television show Tante Monogatari. Number 23. Spike won first place in the male character category of the Anime Grand Prix in 1998 and 1999. Congrats, Spike. I think it was the Pockets. Number 24. The official name for bounty hunters in Cowboy Bebop are Cowboys. Who knew? Number 25. Ed's self-invented full name is Edward Wong Haupepelu Tavruski IV. Number 26. Ed's actual birth name is Francois Appleberry, which is equally difficult to say because its pronunciation is nothing like how it's spelled. Number 27. Ed's real name is finally revealed on episode 24, only 2 episodes away from the finale. Number 28. The name of Ed's computer is Tomato. Number 29. Ed never actually calls her computer by its name in the show, but it is written on the cardboard box the computer stands on in both English and katakana. Number 30. Ed transports her computer by balancing it on her head, which is the only way you're going to keep your hands free. Number 31. Spike is from the Red Dragon Crime Syndicate, where he met his partner and later rival, Vicious. Number 32. Spike was originally producers vetoed it out, which makes sense because he is a cowboy, not a pirate. Number 33. Spike's right eye was replaced with a cybernetic eye in what Spike himself claimed was an accident. Number 34. You can tell which of Spike's eyes is artificial because it's slightly lighter in tone. It's also the right eye, we already said that. Number 35. Spike was the first image that popped into Watanabe's head when conceiving the show. He said that the first image that occurred to me was one of Spike, and from there I tried to build a story around him, trying to make him cool. Number 36. To achieve Spike's coolness, animation director Toshihiro Kawamoto designed Spike to look uncool when he was passive, so that when Spike kicked it into gear, he would come off as extra cool. Is that how that math works? Oh man, I was halfway there in high school and I didn't even realize it. Number 37. The producers have been quoted saying that Spike Spiegel's name was chosen because it sounded cool. Number 38. Most of the cast has their own ships. Spike's is named Swordfish 2. Spike's ship Swordfish 2 was named after the English biplane Fairy Swordfish. Number 40. The main ship in the series, the Bebop, was purchased second-hand by Jet as a fishing vessel. After some upgrades, the Bebop went from catching fish to catching crooks. Number 41. Jet originally worked as an ISSP officer on the moon, Ganymede, but later retired after getting his arm blown off by his partner, Fad. Nice going, Fad. Hey everyone, taking a quick break from the facts just to let you know what's coming up this next week. So on Thursday on Channel Frederator, we have 107 facts about the classic Beauty and the Beast. Then on Saturday, also on Channel Frederator, we have Saturday Morning Cartoons, where we feature the best and greatest cartoons from members of our network. And if you love animation, you should totally check it out. Then back on Tuesday on Cartoon Hangover again, we have 107 facts about Spirited Away. And now, back to Cowboy Bebop.
Spirited Away was a good movie.
Spike and Jet are designed as being opposites, with Spike being thin and dressy and Jet as bulky and more casual. Does that mean that Spike is really, really cool when he's passive, but then when he kicks it into gear, he's just totally lame? Number 43. Spike's English voice actor, Stephen Bloom, used film noir imagery to get into the right mindset to voice Spike correctly, which doesn't really make sense to me because Spike doesn't talk like a film noir character. I knew there was a problem when that dame walked into my office with a knife in her back. Number 44. Bloom has also stated that some of the most difficult scenes to portray in Cowboy Bebop are scenes showing Spike's vulnerability, which makes sense because in a character designed entirely to look cool, it's probably pretty hard to look vulnerable. Number 45. Cowboy Bebop was adapted into 2 manga series, Cowboy Bebop Shooting Star in 1998 and just Cowboy Bebop in 1999. Number 46. The manga Cowboy Bebop Shooting Star was originally titled
Oh, now you want to buffer after you did so well for so fucking long, giving us all these awesome ass facts about the classic cult, anime, space drama.
Boy Bebop, with the Shooting Star subtitle arriving with its
I
English
tried to
release
talk
in
long enough until it
2003.
came back in. And see, now I have to fill in the fucking commentary all over again just because you will not buffer off of this weak ass signal shit. Just play. I just want to hear the facts about my anime. This anime facts are awesome. Edward von Duchess.
Number 47. Despite taking place in the space western setting of 2071, Cowboy Bebop's plot does not venture out of our solar system, which makes a lot of sense because getting gates to a place would be really hard to do outside the solar system. Number 48. Series director Watanabe created a unique tagline for the promotion of the series, which called it a new genre unto itself.
This is not good, man. It's no bueno. No,
Watanabe
no bueno.
later remarked that the tagline was just an exaggeration, which if people bought into it, you shouldn't go back on. Like, people seem to think that that's true, so just roll with it, man. Number 49. Some of the planets in Cowboy Bebop are modeled off places on Earth, with the moon of Ganymede resembling a port city and Mars containing theme parks and shopping malls. Here's a question, though. In Cowboy Bebop universe, is Pluto actually a planet, or not? Number 50. Yoko Kanno, who does the music for the series, specifically created her band Seatbelts in order to make music for the series. And oh my god,
it is
the
awesome.
music in this series
Holy
is
shit.
fantastic.
I swear to
Number
God,
51.
yo.
Kanno claims that the music was one of the first parts of Cowboy Bebop to begin production,
Yo,
before
Kanno and the
other
Seatbelts.
aspects such as characters and story had been finalized.
That shit
Because
is the
honestly,
shit, yo.
you should just make a show around that music. Number 52. The famous opening song Tank is also a blending of genres, containing a big band jazz piece performed in a Latin hard bop style with rhythm that combines both a double bass and bongo drums. Number 53. The small vocal introduction of Tank is done by Kanno's longtime collaborator, Tim Jensen. Number 54. The ending theme for Cowboy Bebop, titled The Real Folk Blues, features vocals by Mai Yamane and is one of the few songs on the soundtrack to be sung in Japanese. Number 55. The Real Folk Blues is used as the ending theme for every episode except for sessions 13 and 26, so the halfway point and the ending point. Number 56. Cowboy Bebop's released music covers over 7 soundtrack albums, a live recording album, a remix album, box sets, singles, and even vinyls.
Yeah,
Number
if you
57.
like
Yoko Kanno also created a
jazz
compilation
samples,
album
yo,
titled Space
listen to
Biocharge,
Cowboy
which contains
Bebop
unreleased
soundtrack,
tapes of
yo.
Cowboy Bebop songs. Number 58. Cowboy Bebop's first soundtrack album titled, you guessed it, Cowboy Bebop, received a 5 out of 5 rating from AllMusic. Number 59. The ending theme of the special Mishmash Blues, titled Recover the Sky of Day, was never featured on any Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. Number 60. Mishmash Blues is also known as Session XX, and it was never televised in the United States. Which, if we're following the typical tradition of animes that don't air in Japan, it's probably way more awesome. Number 61. There's also a Session Zero, which was included in the Cowboy Bebop remix box set. The session, however, features no new footage and is essentially a Q&A piece with the cast and crew, interwoven with various clips from the show. Number 62. Cowboy Bebop was Watanabe's first project as a solo director, as all the other work he had done at the time was as a co-director. Number 63. Watanabe's main inspiration for Cowboy Bebop was the manga and anime Lupin the Third. Number 64. In Session 15, you can quickly see Lupin the Third's car. Potential crossover? Fingers crossed. Number 65. Cowboy Bebop originated as a sponsor for Bandai's toy division with the intention of selling spacecraft toys. So if you ever doubted if a show designed to sell toys could be good, look no further than Cowboy Bebop. Although I would still maintain that the Ninja Turtles was a good toy show. Number 66. Upon hearing about the toy deal, Watanabe remembered his only direction was, so long as there's a spaceship in it, you can do whatever you want. And boy did he. Number 67. However, upon seeing early footage, Bandai pulled out and Bandai Visual sponsored the project, allowing Watanabe free reign on the development of the series. Number 68. During the development of Cowboy Bebop, Watanabe would attempt to rally the animation staff by claiming the show would be memorable up to 3 decades later. Watanabe has expressed his happiness in being proven right, although the real mark of achievement here would be if the show was memorable up until the point the show would actually be taking place. Number 69. 69. Mars is used the most in Cowboy Bebop storylines, as the cultural and setting producer Satoshi Toba explained that other planets were unexpectedly difficult to use. Well, the other planets don't have flowing water, and it turns out that Jupiter is made mostly of gas, so yeah, that's not surprising at all. Number 70. In the final episode, the dramatic roof scene was originally going to occur on Venus, but the staff fell back on Mars once again. Number 71. 2 video games were created for the show,
Spunky
Cowboy
Donkey.
Bebop for the PlayStation and Cowboy Bebop Serenade of Reminiscence for the PlayStation
what about
2.
Spunky
Number
Donkey? That was
72.
in the
The
game.
Cowboy
I mean, in
Bebop
the
games
show.
were never released outside of Japan, with an English version of Serenade of Reminiscence being planned but later cancelled. Number 73. Cowboy Bebop is currently ranked at number 24 on IMDb's top 250 list for television, and is also the highest ranking anime on the list. Number 74. American film director Rian Johnson has cited Cowboy Bebop as a large visual influence for his films, most notably being seen in his 2005 film Brick. Number 75. Ain's vocalizations were done by Jack, a Cardigan Welsh corgi owned by the show's producer Kazuhiko Ikaguchi, not by Gilbert Gottfried, as we had implied before. And by implied, I mean explicitly stated. Number 76. Even though Ain was voiced by a Cardigan Welsh corgi, his official breed is a Pembroke Welsh corgi. Vastly different, yet equally adorable. Number 77. Spike and Jet's aliases are Swimming Bird and Black Dog, respectively. Number 78. Series writer Keiko Nobumoto wrote both Cowboy Bebop and its film. She also wrote episode 16 of Samurai Champloo. Have we mentioned that show yet? I don't feel like we've mentioned that show yet. If we haven't mentioned it yet, you should totally watch it.
You should
Number
watch
79.
Samurai
Session
Champloo.
11, titled Toys in the Attic, has many references to the Alien franchise, such as handheld trackers, arming sequences, and the creature's disposal. Fortunately for us, no chest bursting.
Not again.
Number 80. In the episode The Real Folk Blues, a man named Alfredo is seen meeting his mother at an airport. This man is Punch from the Big Shots commercials seen throughout the series. Number 81. Many of the street signs in the series use English, Japanese, and Persian lettering. Number 82. Session 2, titled Stray Dog Strut, features a fight between Spike and Abdul Hakim. This is a reference to the fight scene in Game of Death between Bruce Lee and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Spike even uses Lee's famous Jeet Kune Do fighting style in the scene. Abdul Hakim not as successful as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 83. According to the store owner in episode 2, Ain is worth about 2 wulongs, which we know is incorrect, but this raises some questions about how much a wulong is actually worth, because you can definitely see Spike order a meal for 20 wulongs, and I have a hard time believing that any corgi is worth a tenth of a meal. Number 84. The 3 old men seen throughout the series are named Antonio, Carlos, and Jobim. This is a reference to Antonio Carlos Jobim, a famous musician who influenced much of Cowboy Bebop's soundtrack. I need to listen to him, apparently. Number 85. Most characters have their own unique pistol. Spike's pistol is the Jericho 941, Jet's pistol is the Walther P99, and Faye's pistol is a Glock 30-45. We have some spoiler facts coming up. Number 86. Faye is 77 years old chronologically. I hope I look that good at 77. Number 87. Many past events in the series have strangely occurred 3 years ago, like Spike and Jet's partnership, Faye waking up from cryofreeze, and Ed's departure from the orphanage. Number 88. Speaking of cryofreeze, Faye was injured in a space shuttle accident in 2014. Because of the technological limitations at the time, the doctors threw her in cryo until medicine had progressed. 2014 has passed, and I think we'd be doing well if we could manage cryofreeze. We've disappointed Futurama
Good job,
and
Beast.
Cowboy Bebop. We gotta get on cryofreeze technology. Number 89. The city in Faye's memories bear a striking resemblance
heard
to
of it.
modern-day
I'm gonna have to check
Singapore.
that out.
Number 90. In Session 14, the moves in the chess game are real moves that famous chess player Paul Morphy played in 1857 and 1858. Number 91. In episode 24, Ed's father's name is Appledary, and his assistant's name is McIntyre. This is a reference to Apple and Mac computers. Number 92. Ed's father's name is Appledary Shini's Hissop Lutfen, which means, excuse me, check please, in Turkish. Number 93. In Session 23, during the Brain Dream, many controllers are shown.
Damn. I don't know why that's so fucking funny to me. In Turkish, his name is excuse me, bring me the check, please. I digress. Damn.
Singapore. Number 90. In session 14, the moves in the chess game are real moves that famous chess player Paul Morphy played in 1857 and 1858. Number 91. In episode 24, Ed's father's name is Appleberry and his assistant's name is McIntyre. This is a reference to Apple and Mac computers. Number 92. Ed's father's name is Appleberry Shini's Hesap Lütfen, which means excuse me, check please in Turkish. Number 93. In session 23, during the Brain Tree commercial, many controllers are shown in the garbage. Among them are Sega Genesis, NES, SNES, and PlayStation-looking controllers, which just goes to show you that old systems hold up way better than newer counterparts. You don't get a red ring of death on an SNES. Number 94. In session 17, a man appears to be dragging a coffin behind him in the street. This is a reference to popular spaghetti western Django, where the protagonist also carries a coffin through the street, except Django's coffin had a machine gun in it. Number 95. The Japanese titles for sessions 11 and 20 are Dark Knight of Heavy Rock and Clown's Requiem, respectively. Number 96. Before Ed left the Bebop crew, her final message was a large smiley face written into the floor with the words, bye-bye, which, yeah, is a totally valid message to leave when you're leaving. Number 97. Ed's parting gift to Spike is a pinwheel. Number 98. The three things Spike hates most are kids, animals, and women with attitudes. Funny enough, Ed, Ein, and Faye join the crew later in the series. Lucky him. Number 99. Faye's cryo-freezing operation cost around 30 million woolongs. We still don't know how much a woolong is worth, but apparently that's 15 million corgis? Number 100. Speaking of woolongs, the same currency is also used in the sci-fi anime Space Dandy, which shares a lot of the same staff from Cowboy Bebop. Number 101. According to Spike, Faye sings off-key, but we never hear Spike sing, so maybe people in glass houses and all that. Number 102. Before making Cowboy Bebop, series director Shinichiro Watanabe was most famous for co-directing the 1994 military anime Macross Plus.
Yo, he did Macross
in
Plus?
Session 6, the character
Yo, that was my
Fatty
shit
Rivers
too,
is
yo.
a
That the
reference to
movie,
legendary blues musician
Macross Plus,
Muddy
the
Waters,
movie. Oh
who
my
influenced
god,
the
yo!
music style
It was
of
the
show.
fucking
Lots of people
the
influenced the
jet.
music style of the show.
Yo, they was putting out this new fucking jet, but you goddamn control this shit with your fucking mind and shit, yo. But yo, the Macross Plus series, that shit was tough, yo. Yeah, there's a lot of good facts about Bebop.
Number 104. Spike's fate is deliberately left ambiguous, and Watanabe has not confirmed whether he lived or died. No matter what happened, the series has ended here, as Watanabe hasn't stated he'd be bringing it back anytime soon. So long, Space Cowboy. Number 105. Session 19 features a gang of Starship pirates, whose three members are named George, Herman, and Ruth. George Herman Ruth is the full name of famous baseball player Babe Ruth, which is just more proof that every single tiny detail in this show is super awesome and cool. Number 106. In Session 3, the casino that Spike and Jet visit is called the Spiders from Mars Casino, just like David Bowie's famous album Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. And finally, number 107. Faye's cryotank has the serial number NCC-1701B, which is also the serial number of the third Enterprise from Star Trek. I would not be surprised to learn that people had this as a tattoo. Thank you for watching Tuned Ups 107, where we cover everything you've ever wanted to know about your favorite cartoons. If you liked this video, you can go ahead and check out other 107 fact videos that we have over here. Go ahead and click on one of those.
I did like that
I
video.
can wait. Can't really wait. My legs are hurting super bad from squatting, so I'm gonna stand up normally, and you guys should remember, Frederator loves you.
The number on her cryogenic tank is the same number from the third Starship Enterprise. It's pretty crafty, buddy.
My name is
Those Easter
Tara, and
eggs
I
in
was
there.
diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Bitch,
I
you
never
crazy.
would have thought I
was fascinated by the idea of formative media. That is to say, fascinated with the idea of media we consume in our formative years, say from the ages of around 12 to 18, and how that period of our lives affects how we might view it. Whoever you talk to, it's often with a sense of reverence that people discuss their favorite games, TV shows, and movies they experienced when they were a teenager. But also, I think it makes it quite difficult when returning to such media.
It's buffering. I'm surprised.
Years later. As it's media we experienced when we were arguably at our most vulnerable and least sure of our own identity, and something we may have clung to in a world of whirling hormones and ambiguous, hard-to-grasp social norms. I think this period of vulnerability means that we consume media with more sensitivity than we do at any other point in our lives, and thus respond more strongly to it. For instance, ask anyone what their favourite PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy is, and it will most likely be the one they experienced at the earliest in their adolescence. It's often with a little trepidation that I go back to games and anime from this period, for the reason that it can be a real disappointment to return to one of your favourite series, only to find out that it doesn't hold up in the cold light of post-adolescence. But there is an inverse to this also, and that is when we go back to something many years later, not only to find that it stood the test of time, but that it resonates with you harder than ever before.
Is this dude like an anime philosopher or something? I mean, I'm grooving with it.
For
It's
me,
good, but
my most recent experience of this was upon rewatching one of my favourite anime probably ever, Cowboy Bebop. I first experienced Bebop in a late night block of animation on an old UK television channel called CNX, where it would play between Outlaw Star and Spawn the animated series.
Outlaw Star
And
and
one of my
Spawn.
clearest memories I
I got both
have
of
from
them
being a
shits.
teenager was sitting down each and every night and watching these three shows. And while I was initially more taken with the bright and colourful world of Outlaw Star, as well as the more violent, edgy world of Spawn, over time I grew increasingly entranced with the subtle narratives of Spike, Jet, and Faye, until I got to the point where I would have happily sat rewatching the same episodes of Bebop night after night. The funny thing is, I think if you were to ask me why I liked the show at the time, I don't think I really could have explained it very well. On the surface, it's a simple story about a bunch of jerk bounty hunters in space floating from misadventure to misadventure, and I get the feeling I wouldn't really have been able to articulate some of the more complicated themes of the show or some of the more subtle feelings it set off inside me. Fortunately, however, I am a little older now and can probably take a far better stab at it. And yes, that, my friends, is exactly the purpose we're gathered here for. So let's sit back, relax, and talk about why you should watch Cowboy Bebop.
Wow.
Cowboy Bebop was produced in 1997 by Studio Sunrise and directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, who was, up until this point, best known for his works on features like Macross Plus and Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memories. He was joined by the
Stardust
dream
Memories.
team of writer Keiko Nobumoto, character designer Toshiro Kawamoto, music composer Yoko Kanno, and mechanical art designer Kishimoto Yamane. And I single out each member of the team by name because each one was a heavy hitter in their own discipline. And while watching Bebop, it's easy to make out the distinctive fingerprint of each individual person. Even me, who generally does not give a flying fuck about mecha or machine design, has to appreciate the craft and thought that's gone into even the smallest mechanical on-screen object. And this same care can be felt in every part of Bebop, from the beautiful character designs to the moody atmospheric backgrounds to the utterly fantastic soundtrack, which can go from flashy up-tempo jazz to downtrodden blues, all the while maintaining a distinctive voice and atmosphere unique to Cowboy Bebop. The show has a nearly seamless quality to it. The direction, animation, and soundtrack work well enough that it often makes it difficult to consider each individual one in isolation, and there's just a flow to the series simply unlike anything else. And it makes following the story of our bounty hunter protagonists, Spike, Jet, and Faye, an utter pleasure. And despite how weighty some of the broader themes of the show are, cruising the galaxy and spending time with these three vagabonds is an incredible amount of fun. There's lively, exciting displays of martial arts prowess, clever and engaging back and forths as the characters argue in a way that only close friends can. And some terrific visual comedy. I'm particularly fond of any scene featuring Ed and Ein. The show has this beautiful, varied and mixed tone to it. Read any interview with director Watanabe and you'll quickly learn what a film nerd he is. And this can be felt in the very small ways, like the subtle nods to American 80s sci-fi and action cinema, to the very large, like how each episode seems to have its own specific genre, like the Western-infused cowboy funk, or the hard-boiled police drama of Black Dog Serenade. Sci-fi, Chinese martial arts, 80s action, and blaxploitation cinema, there's a looseness and a vibrancy in the feel of each episode, and no two ever feel even remotely similar. Just compare the vibrant and fun atmosphere of Mushroom Samba, where the crew spends nearly an entire episode high on mushrooms, to the nightmare-inducing horror neo-noir of Pierrot Le Fou, in which Spike attempts to track down a deranged and extremely dangerous, insane floating psychopath. We'll be spending most of our time with the series with the crew of the titular Bebop spaceship, and as main cast go, they're about as likeable and charming as they come. We have our main protagonist Spike, a wily and skilled bounty hunter whose chilled and often playful demeanour hide a man haunted by his time spent working as a hitman for a brutal crime syndicate. We have Jet, a man of principles and old-fashioned way of doing things, whose commitment to doing what he thinks is right forced him out of a corrupt police force and into the life of a bounty hunter. And finally Faye, a deceptive con woman with a penchant for drinking, gambling, and mayhem, all the while dealing with the fact that she's essentially alone in the universe, a cryogenics accident meaning she was frozen for several decades and awoke in a future she didn't understand, her own past a mystery, kind of like a really pretty Fry from Futurama. If you notice a theme among this triad of lost souls, it's the one, they're all in their own way dealing with loneliness, but second, each one is in one way or another haunted by the events of their past. And this is a major theme throughout Cowboy Bebop. What strikes me most about Cowboy Bebop's story is how adult it is, and I don't mean that in terms of having gratuitous violence or large amounts of sexual content. I mean that Cowboy Bebop is a distinctly about being an adult. Whereas a lot of anime begin their story at the beginning of a character's narrative arc, the path that will lead them on a road to self-discovery, our characters here have kind of already been through their arcs by the time episode 1 starts. The crew of the Bebop have all significant lives up until this point. This isn't a group of characters coming of age and discovering who they really are, but instead 3 jaded adults who are all in their own way trying to escape those exact same realizations. I think it's interesting to think how if you rewind the clock a couple of years, you'd have a much simpler story. The mafia hitman who fell in love with the wrong person, the last clean police officer fighting a corrupt system, a woman with amnesia trying to figure out her past. But instead, all those events are distant in the rear view mirrors of our characters' lives. And I think it says a lot about the themes of the show that it's at this later stage that we're introduced to our characters. While the crew of the Bebop work well individually, and there are several episodes showing this, where the cast really comes into its own is in the dynamic that's formed between them. I can remember reading the book Bossy Pants by Tina Fey, and in it she talks about when creating the characters of Jack, Liz, and Tracy from the show 30 Rock, she wanted 3 characters who, if you presented them with the same exact problem, would all come up with solutions entirely different to one another. And when you look at a lot of the best ensemble casts in fiction, this same pattern seems to appear again and again. I can't imagine a single situation that Yusuke, Kuwabara, Hiei, or Kurama would ever approach in a fashion that is in any way similar. Same for the squad of JoJo's Part 4, and of course, the same is true of the crew of the Bebop. Positioning characters at odds with each other like this means that each one is forced to, at some point, justify their own way of doing things, and thus it lets us learn more about them without ever feeling like forced exposition dumps. And a lot of these moments can be very subtle, like when Faye asks Jet why he just doesn't get reconstructive surgery on his robotic arm. And he's defensive to the point that it's obvious that there's probably a story there, and one that is told later on in the episode Black Dog Serenade. There's also a surprising amount of subtlety and nuance in the crew of the Bebop. I love these simple scenes of Spike working out or practicing kung fu, Jet tending to his bonsai plants, or Faye lounging and watching old videotapes in her room. While not significant scenes to either the episodic or overall plot, they do convey the idea that these are characters with mundane lives, only briefly punctuated by flashes of excitement, and not just fictional cartoon characters hopping from one flashy misadventure to the next. The other member of the crew is Ed, and I wait till now to bring her up as she contrasts so heavily with every other character in the show. A young savant hacker, Ed joins the crew of the Bebop later on in episode 9, and not only does she not have a past she's trying to run from, she's not an adult. Life hasn't taken its toll on her in the same way it has Spike and the others, and she still views the world with a level of enthusiasm and fascination entirely unique to her. She provides a lot of the comedic relief of the show, but I think just boiling her down to that role is to misunderstand her place within the group. While her computer skills are indeed useful, it always seemed to me that the others took her in as a replacement for what each one of them has individually lost, and that is a carefree youth. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but given how focused literally every other character in the show is on their past, I suspect that this may have been an intentional move on the creator's part. Another huge part of the appeal of Cowboy Bebop is the unique vision of a dystopian future it takes place in. Set in the year 2071, the Earth has suffered a string of massive catastrophes after an astral gate exploded and destroyed a large portion of the moon, and so humanity has scattered across the galaxy, settling on the different planes of Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Ganymede. There's a lot of smaller touches that make this world feel so succinct and alive. The world has its own media. There's all these different shows within shows, like on this flight when we see some kind of knockoff Tom and Jerry show, or the silly bounty series Spike and Co get their information from. You can also see this in all the unusual and inventive technology. And I don't even just mean the impressively designed spaceships, but everything from the facial recognition software used by Spike and the crew to the mechanized ashtrays that appear in a casino. Every new environment brings with it some reimagining of modern technology, and it really gives this feeling of a universe set within our own, but at the same time feeling alien and unique. Another interesting thing about Cowboy Bebop's future is how it completely lacks any feeling of uniformity or any strong presence of an overarching governmental system. Rather, what we get are destroyed remnants of human culture, shot into a million different galactic pockets. Or, as Watanabe himself puts it, statelessness rather than multinationalism, meaning that each person within Bebop's universe feels more tied to their own personal creed rather than a larger whole. This results in a highly varied cast of supporting characters, coming from every social, racial, and religious background imaginable, and it gives this sense that no one in Bebop's world really has a solid place within it. That just like Faye, Jet, and Spike, they're all just kind of drifting. And I think one of the core joys of the show is experiencing some of these different stories as our protagonists cross paths with various different individuals. Some are just good people who have had some really, really tough breaks, and each one is highly memorable in their own right, helped in no small part by some utterly stunning character design. The sheer diversity in appearance among its cast is pretty incredible. It's a show not afraid to have characters from every walk of life. Not afraid to age characters, not afraid to have them look unattractive, and many of Bebop's episodes revolve around our crew's life briefly intersecting with these characters. And their stories run the gambit from whimsical and entertaining, like the encounter with Cowboy Andy, to the utterly crushing, like when Jet realizes that a new bounty target is the lover of his ex-girlfriend Alyssa, who he himself never quite got over. I think it's interesting to note that while each episode brings a host of new faces and characters, once their episode's over, we never see them again, nor are they mentioned by the crew of the Bebop. This really gives the impression of a ships passing in the night kind of deal. Like Spike, Jet, and Faye meet all these different kinds of people with different stories, And after a while, it gives an impression of a universe filled with countless different people, all of whom have their own narrative, and only a tiny fraction of which we encounter. And there's a certain sadness to it, as it's like Spike, Jet, and Faye can only get so involved in a person's life before moving on. See Digibro's video titled "You're Going to Carry That Way" for more on that. The show also looks consistently incredible, but I think in a way that perhaps is a little more subtle than most modern anime, as Bebop was produced in a period entirely before digital compositing was common in the industry. Digital compositing is the process of combining the character and the background and then adding all the lighting, atmosphere and environmental effects in order to make the end product look as finished as possible. And next to the digitization of hand-drawn animation, it's probably the biggest advance in the industry in the last 10 years, and arguably the biggest visual indicator of a show's age, as many shows prior to its popularization tend to have a simpler, flatter look, at least in terms of lighting and effects. And Cowboy Bebop is totally one of these shows, which means that at first glance it might look more basic than something like, say, the Fate series, but judging it by this metric can lead to you missing out on the mega strong points of its production. While there's generally one or two fantastic action scenes in an episode, aside from this, the animation can actually be pretty limited. But I think where the show's true strength lies isn't with the amount of drawings in a scene, but with the quality of each individual one. No one ever really just stands straight. Each character has a particular gesture and feeling in any given scene, and more often than not, a character's posture will tell you more about how they're feeling than their actual dialogue. This is a word we come back to a lot on this channel, but there is an expressiveness to the way each character is posed. You can particularly see this with Ed. I could quite easily see this character being far more irritating if her animation didn't do such a good job of selling her offbeat, idiosyncratic personality. Every scene she's in, there's a sense that the animators are trying to move her in a way that's uniquely distinct to her. And though less obvious in other characters, you can see the same attention to detail, whether it's Spike's consistently relaxed and laid back slouch, the differences in the way Faye carries herself when she's around people as opposed to when she's not, or Jet's consistently tense upper a rigid posture. Every character in Bebop's world carries a distinct body language, and I think this, just as much as the terrific voice acting or sharp dialogue, goes into establishing its characters as believable and tangible. The colour and lighting is another area worth mentioning. While the crew all have their standard colour palettes inside the Bebop ship itself, whenever they go outside there's often subtle differences in how their palettes are treated. Just look at the sombre purples and pinks of episode 10 Ganymede Elegy versus the harsh black shadows of Pierre Le Fou. Each location has its own palette and feel, and this pushes the various unique atmosphere of each episode and adds to what is, as a whole, an incredibly strong production. I could go on here: the camera angles, the composition, the way the music is used in often
This dude's stupid.
ways. But if you want to see it all beautifully, then check out episode 5, Ballad of Fallen Angels,
Alright, Joe.
in which we see Spike and his arch
She
nemesis
peeking over the
Vicious
other
face
cameras
off
looking at you,
in
dog.
church for the first time.
Damn.
Each individual element comes together to create one of the most intense and memorable encounters of this or
Stare
any
at me,
other
I'm
show.
gonna say something to
And
you.
so
man.
finally, we come to
I ain't scared. I'm gonna say something.
You a fool, bro. I see you peeking at you. Alright, that's done, I think. Now watch, I'm gonna go to bed, I'm gonna get up tomorrow, I'm gonna come look at this thing and be like, oh shit, I fucked up a little bit. Let me change this, and let me change that. Let me do this, and let me do that. It never fails. Sometimes you just gotta let go and let God. It's early in the morning. I might try to go game for like a minute just to see who online, and I don't know. I might do like a couple of maps of some hardcore team deathmatch on Battlefield 4. I'm not sure if I'm gonna post this morning. I'll wait. I'll take a good picture. I'll take a good picture tomorrow. Get a nice good picture of this and get it online. I knew that was gonna happen. Yo, peace, bro. Another masterpiece completed. Peace.